Good afternoon. Welcome to the channel here, Gray Cloudy Day. I'm Gray Cloud, Sage of the Eternal Moment. I've had a pretty decent day so far. Got to have two good conversations with a couple of people I haven't talked to in a little while. One just specifically that I hadn't talked to in a good while. Good stuff when you get to touch base with people like that, you know, like to just be able to talk for a little while and have real conversation. But yeah, this is going to be the Fifth Agreement video where I pick up from where we left off, and we were talking about, the book was talking about the word and why it exists and what is behind the power of the word, the force. And I said, in context, because it says here, you know, nothing can exist without the word, because the word is what we use to create everything that we know. And then if you want to relate it to the, like, in the beginning there was the word, he even talked about that in the story of creation from the Bible. But he delved into a lot of different areas, and the point of being how the word in different parts of the world, like there's different words for the same thing and all that kind of stuff. But based on where we're at, sometimes someone might be saying their word for whatever, but it's not making sense because you don't know it and all that. So anyway, this is the third time I'm trying to record this, and I'm just making sure that I keep to the focused on this. So let's just get into it. If you notice, I'm changing all the symbols on purpose so you can see that the different expressions mean the exact same thing. The symbols can change, but the meaning is the same in all the different traditions around the world. If you listen to the intent behind the symbols, you will understand what I'm trying to say. Impeccability of the word is so important because the word is you, the messenger. The word is all about the message you deliver, not just to everyone and everything around you, but the message you deliver to yourself. You're telling yourself a story, but is it the truth? If you're using the word to create a story with self-judgment and self-rejection, then you're using the word against yourself, and you're not being impeccable. When you're impeccable, you're not going to tell yourself, I'm old, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm never going to make it in my life. You're not going to use your knowledge against yourself, which means your voice of knowledge is not going to use the word to judge you, find you guilty, and punish you. Your mind is so powerful that it perceives the story that you create. If you create self-judgment, you create inner conflict that's nothing but a nightmare. Yeah, we're going to go on for a couple more paragraphs. Your happiness is up to you, and it depends on how you use the word. If you get angry and use the word to send emotional poison to someone else, it appears that you're using the word against that person, but you're really using the word against yourself. That action is going to create a like reaction, and that person is going to go against you. If you insult someone, that person may even harm you in response. If you use the word to create a conflict in which your body may be injured, of course, it's against you. We know that can happen plenty of times, you know, people. Yeah. Okay, continue on. Be impeccable with your word really means never use the power of the word against yourself. When you're impeccable with your word, you never betray yourself. You never use the word to gossip about yourself or to spread emotional poison by gossiping about other people. Gossiping is the main form of communication in human society, and we learn how to gossip by agreement. When we are children, we hear the adults around us gossiping about themselves and giving their opinions about other people, including people they don't even know. But now you are aware that our opinions are not the truth. They're just a point of view. Remember, you're the creator. You are the creator of your own life story, If you use the word impeccably, just imagine the story that you are going to create yourself. You're going to use the word in the direction of truth and love for yourself. You're going to use the word to express the truth in every thought, in every action, in every word you use to describe yourself, to describe your own life story. And what will be the result? An extraordinarily beautiful life. In other words, you're going to be happy. Yeah, like I remember when I first ever came across the 4 agreements and read the first one, which we're in the book, the 5th agreement, but right now we're in this chapter, we're talking about the first agreement, which is be impeccable with your word. I remember at that time in life when I found the book, having to refresh my memory of what impeccable meant. At some point, I'm sure I learned that word in high school or whatever. But, basically, I'm like, okay, because when I'm reading something, I learned a long time ago, if I'm reading something, it's good to, like, if you come across a word and you can't figure out what it means by the context of the sentence, if you have the time, the ability to go ahead and look that word up at the time, it helps to better understand what you're reading. Anyway, the point being is impeccable, basically means being truthful, standing by, firmly. And I know that there's plenty of times in my life, and even probably nowadays, that sometimes maybe I'm not as impeccable as I should be. But that's why it's something you have to, you can't think about what I've been or what I could be in tomorrow or yesterday. Today is what I got, so I'm trying to move through this day as impeccable as I possibly can be. That's how I try to approach all my days. Sometimes it's not as easy as I thought. But that's why the 4th agreement is always do your best and know that the best changes from day to day. If your mental state's not that great, it ain't going to be as good as the day before if you were in a good mood. If you're physically feeling bad and the day before you were feeling better, it's not going to be the same. But if you put forth your best, that's going to, at least at the end of the day, you can go, I did put forth the best effort I could. And I know at the end of the day, I know when I haven't put forth that effort. I know when I haven't. But that's that inner voice, ego part trying to judge me. Like I said, we have to not, if I'm thinking less of myself, then I can't move forward. I have to learn, this is what I am, this is where I'm at, this is who I'm, trying to be, this is where my life I want, but it all happens in the now. It's like, what am I doing on this day that I'm in to make adjustments to where I'm being fully honest with myself, let alone anybody else. That's why a few weeks ago I was doing a lot of questioning about, and I know that I've said this many times already in videos in the past few weeks, but, Gray Cloud was like, was the experience in the woods and all the things that I went through those years that ended up with me understanding who I am and what my name is, not the name on paper, And, by the questioning myself again, came me back to my center. And even in the 5th agreement, like the 5th agreement is be skeptical, but learn to listen. And that means even to yourself. Like I have to be skeptical of my own self and my own thoughts. That's how I get to the core of, okay, I'm solid on this. This is true. I just had a conversation before I started making this video about that with somebody. I said, yeah. A few weeks ago when I was questioning myself and everything, like, is Gray Cloud crazy? Like, did he make it? It's this guy, am I some delusional person? And the fact that I could ask that question and go through a few days of introspection lets me know I'm not delusional. It might appear to somebody that the fact that I bring it up from time to time, but that's just something that I've went through. If anybody if you've been introspective and you have and are a person that does question things, but you also question yourself. Like when you get to where you think you know what you believe and you think you know the truth, sometimes it's good to question some more, Because sometimes, based on what you've experienced since the last time you put those questions to the test, you might have found something out that wasn't quite the same as you thought it was. That's what I have found in 51 years on this earth, is that I had certain notions of how I thought everybody would be and how the world was going to treat me when I got first out in it, after high school and stuff. It didn't take long, but I always knew there was an illusion. But I still was naive, and I've been naive for a long time. But over the past few years, I've learned a little bit better of, hey, it is what it is, but this is what I have today. And I'm glad that I'm breathing and able to make a video. So I'm going to get out of here. Until next time, guys. I don't know if I made any sense, but that's my take on it. And like I said, this is the third or fourth time trying to record, and I'm going to roll with this one. And I already said what I need to say until whenever. Cloud here. Sage of the Eternal Moment, over and out. Ditto.